can get a glimpse of what happens in the Senate and we can learn across the board. I remember the other time we had issues of gender, and I promised in the next session we will have the Deputy Governor attending. And I think today you can also see that we have addressed that issue. Kwa hivyo mwenyekiti, nisingependa kuzungumza muda mrefu, na kwa vile umeongea kwamba tutumie lugha mbili ili kila mtu aweze kuwa na nafasi ya kushiriki, ningependa tu kwa kifupi na kwa muhtasari kushukuru sana kwamba tumeweza kuwa na kikao hapa, na vile tulikuwa tumezungumza mbeleni kule Nairobi, leo imekuwa kweli kwamba tuko hapa. Ni kikao ambacho tunataka kuangalia vile ambayo miradi na matumizi yamekuwa. Ni kikao pia kimepatia nafasi wale maafisa ambao kila siku ndio wanafanya shughuli waweze kujua kwamba kazi zao mwishowe zinaishia kwamba tufanye kikao hiki. Kwa hivyo nisingeongea sana tu, ni kuwashukuru pamoja na wale wajumbe na wananchi ambao wamepata nafasi ya kuhudhuria ili kujua kwamba mambo haya tunayafanya wazi na kuna jambo ya kufanya chini ya meza. Kwa hivyo asanteni na karibuni Kwale, na tuko tayari kuweza kuendelea na kikao.
Asante Governor. Thank you for those remarks that set the tone. Past engagements we sometimes have been a bit heated. There's a time you came to the Senate and we find you quite a substantial amount of money, which I hope you paid from your own resources and not from the resources of the county of Kwale. We see no reason to go that direction today unless a matter might arise in the course of our deliberations. But as we have always said, that audit is not just punitive, it is also corrective. And now that we are down here, it's important for us to have this conversation to find out areas where you are struggling so that Senate can help in intervention. I see the Vice Chair of the Cohesion Committee of the Senate seeking my intervention, Senator Omanga.
Thank you. No, we also deal with equality. Na tutasema hongera for having the Deputy Governor as a lady, but that one doesn't make him now not to have a CECs who are ladies, because clearly again it is a club of men, because
Order. Ukiwa pale kwa gallery leo, wewe ni mgeni wa Senate na sheria za Senate zitatumika leo, and cheering and jeering and general disorder will not be accepted.
Chair, tunataka kuona kina mama wakiwa kwa nyadhifa za department ambao ziko na like ziko na nguvu kama finance, pale wanaweza make decision ambayo inasaidia kina mama, vijana na walemavu wetu kwenye jamii. Tunataka kuona ndio wako pia kwenye finance, wako zile docket ambao wanaume wanakuwa sana, wasio watu hao ndio wanawekwa kwa ile docket ambaye yenye haina nguvu sana na haina zile za chini ambazo hazina budget. Tunataka kuona kina mama wakiongoza zile department ambazo zina budget, ndio kwa sababu ndio sauti zao ziweze kusikika.
Asante sana Senator Omanga, and I think it's a legitimate concern, but it does not go only to the executive. The challenge also goes to the assembly, because it is the assembly that vets and hires. So it is a dual responsibility. Governor, I think that was more of a point of information. You might not need to respond in more than 2 sentences. Senator Dulo?
Yeah, how many ladies do you have in CEC?
I want to say that we have CC Environment and Lands, the lady there on the other side. CC Agriculture is also on the other side. We also have public service and administration. CC Public Service is also a lady. We also have Chief of SAS. social services and talent management. We also have chief officer, environment and lands.
Governor, how many CEC women members do you have?
There are 3.
Don't mix with chief officers.
But no, I was introducing them. But so
okay,
we have 3.
To save time, you
3.
have 3 CC members, female.
Yes.
And, plus the deputy governor.
Yes.
So that gives you at least 33%.
Yes.
The constitutional threshold.
Yes.
And chief officers.
Chief officers.
In terms of numbers.
The
ratio.
There are 4.
Out of a total of?
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
So that again goes beyond the threshold. I think members, we can leave it at that. Senator Omanga has a club going on called Inua Mama. So at Angalau naona Gavana ameinua wamama hapa Kwale. Let's now move to the substantive issues. And it's important to define why we are here. It might be taken for granted that everyone knows why we are here. We have come here to check how public funds have been applied. You have received resources from the national coffers for 6 years or so. And on average, about 7 billion a year or thereabouts. And that's a substantial amount of money. We want to see to what extent the county executive has applied those resources to change the lives of the people of Kwale. Number 2, we want to have a conversation with the assembly, which we already have had, to understand their capacity and their preparedness and their ability to oversight these resources. I must say, Governor, that we have been very impressed with the report that has come from the County Assembly of Kwale. They have indicated to us that there are certain reports that they have already discussed, tabled, and adopted. And for the executive, accounts of the executive for 2013-14, 2014-15, and 2016-17 have been considered. But those that have been adopted by the House are 2013-14 and 2014-15 and 2015-2016. So the County Assembly has dealt with 3 financial years, and we congratulate them for that because many county assemblies have not gone that far. The County Assembly has also looked at the accounts of the Kwale Water, which is a county corporation. They've looked at the accounts of the County Assembly. They've looked at the accounts of various funds, particularly the Trade Revolving Fund, the County Bursary Fund, the Youth Women Fund, and the Staff Loan Funds. The challenge that we have established is on implementation of the recommendations of the County Assembly. And I want at this point to refer to Section 53 of the Public Audit Act. And Governor, this then becomes a directive from the Senate. Upon adoption of the report of the County Assembly on the report of the Auditor General, you have a responsibility to respond within 3 months on measures taken to implement the recommendations of the County Assembly. For avoidance of doubt, I want the Auditor General to read that provision so that when we are directing the Governor to respond to the report of the Assembly, it is grounded in the law. Auditor General, please read Section 53 of the Public Audit Act.
Thank you, Chair. Section 53 of the Public Audit Act, implementation of reports by an accounting officer. Subsection 1, Chair, the relevant accounting officer of a state organ or public entity shall within 3 months after Parliament has considered and made recommendations on the audit report A, take the relevant steps to implement the recommendations of Parliament on the report of the Auditor General. B, give explanations in writing to the Parliament on why the report has not been acted upon. And subsection 2, Chair, failure to comply with the provisions of subsection 1, the accounting officer shall be in contempt of Parliament or County Assembly, and upon determination by Parliament or relevant County Assembly, Parliament or relevant County Assembly may recommend administrative sanctions such as removal as the accounting officer, reduction in rank, among others. Thank you, Chair.
Members, following our earlier conversation, it would be fair to direct the county executive. within the next 1 month. The law said within 3 months after adoption. These reports were adopted several months back. We want to be reasonable. Within 1 month from today, the County Executive of Kwale is advised to respond to the recommendations of the Public Accounts Committee as adopted by the House on those dates when the adoption was done. And Clerk of the Assembly, please ensure that that is followed up. The Clerk of the Senate, please ensure that that directive is conveyed to the County Executive of Kwale. Within 1 month of receipt of that response, or in fact, let me put it this way, that the response by the County Executive shall be copied to the Senate Public Accounts Committee within 1 month from today. The Senate has got no intention of usurping the role of county assemblies. If the county assembly has made certain recommendations, we shall go with those recommendations unless they have made recommendations that are contrary to the law. And we have no illusions that the County Assembly of Kwale would make recommendations that are contrary to the law. So that then deals with that issue that the County Assembly had raised, that they've made recommendations, but implementation seems not to be moving as fast as possible. Chairman, Implementation Committee, please insist within 1 month from today, get that report from the executive. The other issue that we probably need to deal with is the power of the Assembly to request for evidence contained in Article 125 of the Constitution and also Article 195. 125 deals with the power of Parliament and 195 deals with the power of county assemblies. When the county assembly requests for a CEC or a chief officer to present themselves before the county assembly, we expect those invitations to be honored in a manner similar to the national parliament. If we call the cabinet secretary for interior today and we gave reasonable time frame, they have an obligation to appear before parliament. I know there is a problem around the role of the governor appearing before a county assembly. I personally believe that a governor should appear before a county assembly. Unfortunately, people have gone to court, and courts have made certain rulings that tend to shield the governor from direct scrutiny by the county assembly. And as members of county assembly, you belong to that forum called what? What's a forum for? You belong to CAF. These are some of the things that CAF should be dealing with. How do we ensure we overturn some of the court rulings that have shielded governors from accountability and scrutiny by the county assembly? Governor, I was informed that this chamber has not seen you for the last 2 years, and yet you have an obligation to address this assembly every year. We need to deal with those legal issues. But in the meantime, the courts have affirmed that a CEC or a CEO or anybody else who works in the county has got a duty to appear before the assembly. Members of the county assembly, please use the powers that are available to you to enforce appearance by these officers, to enforce production of documents. As we told you earlier, you have a lot of powers. Sometimes you have more powers than the Senate. I think with that now, I want to finally say that the Senate still believes that counties deserve more money. The Senate still holds to the view that even the 335 billion that we have proposed is inadequate, particularly when you look at the functions that have been devolved. However, the Senate is also conscious of the situation the country finds itself in. The mediation committee will be meeting again tomorrow on Wednesday, and we hope that we'll be able to find a solution to this stalemate that threatens to shut down our county.